Evelyn Hale, even if you force me to marry you, I'll never love you. I'll never so much as touch you. Get that through your head. Ethan Voss's furious roar rang in my ears, jolting me awake from a foggy daze. What was happening? Hadn't I jumped off a building to my death? Why was I looking at Ethan again, alive, breathing, right in front of me? Don't touch me. If you're dead set on getting this license, hurry up. You've got 1 minute. Grab the marriage papers yourself. Ethan wrenched his face away from my reaching hand, his tone thick with disgust. He tossed the stack of documents and IDs at me, then turned on his heel and strode toward the door. The sting on my wrist told me this was real. I wasn't dreaming. I'd gone back to the day I'd strong-armed Ethan Voss into marrying me. In my last life, Ethan had been just as unwilling, dragged to the county clerk's office by my threats and bribes. I'd thought that day was the start of my happy ending. I'd had no idea it would all end in such utter ruin. Thankfully, fate had taken pity on me and given me a second chance. This time, I wouldn't make the same stupid mistake. I stared through blurry tears at his retreating back, then wiped my eyes dry. I didn't run after him, didn't beg him to stay. He was right. The Hale family had money and power. Why would I settle for a man who didn't want me, when I could have anyone? This time, I'd cut this doomed toxic bond with my own 2 hands. With that thought, I waved to the bodyguards standing nearby, ordering them to avoid Ethan and bring Scarlett Moore, who'd been hiding in the shadows waiting to set me up, over to me. Evelyn Hale, why'd you summon me here? To gloat? Let me tell you something, so what if you forced Ethan to marry you? I'm the only one he's ever loved, from the very beginning. Scarlett held her chin high, the long, pale line of her neck exposed like a proud swan refusing to back down. I stepped slowly toward her, my voice cool and detached. So what? If I want him to marry me, he'll do it. Doesn't matter how he feels about it. I'd said it on purpose, just to see how she'd react. In my last life, she'd hidden in that same corner, watched us get our license, then thrown herself in front of us putting on a tragic, heartbroken act to make Ethan feel guilty. Later, when Ethan had gone to get the car, she'd stood at the curb and taunted me until I'd snapped and tried to push her away. Only I'd never actually pushed her, she'd grabbed my hand and thrown herself backward into oncoming traffic, framing me for assault so Ethan would see how vicious I was. You might have his name on a piece of paper, Evelyn Hale, but you'll never have his heart. Don't get too cocky. You'll be crying soon enough. Scarlett never bothered to hide her ugly side around me. And she'd been right. In my last life, I'd forced Ethan into marriage. On our wedding day, thanks to her schemes, my own husband had called me cruel and asked me why I didn't just die. No matter how I'd tried to explain, he'd never believed me. Those words had cut like a knife, burying deep in my chest and tearing me apart. Even now, remembering them made my heart ache. After that, he'd barely come home at all. Instead, he and Scarlett kept popping up on trending topics online. I'd gone months without seeing him. The marriage might as well have not existed. I let out a bitter laugh, breathing slowly to steady myself. I pushed past the wave of emotion and looked at her. Did you bring your ID? Scarlett clutched her purse to her chest, eyeing me warily. What do you want with it? I didn't waste time arguing. I snatched her bag straight out of her hands and rummaged through it for her driver's license. Evelyn Hale. What do you think you're doing? Give that back. Ethan won't let you get away with this. Shut up. I swapped out the paperwork I'd prepared, replacing my own ID with Scarlett's, pairing it with Ethan's documents. You. Scarlett's eyes went wide. She couldn't speak, not even when 2 fresh marriage licenses, hers and Ethan's, appeared in front of her. This time, I'm giving you what you both want. You can figure out how to break the news to Ethan yourself. Evelyn, are you insane? I stared at the 2 marriage licenses, a dull ache throbbing in my chest as I smiled. Call me crazy, then. It was the only way to cut every last tie between Ethan and me for good. What's taking so long? Evelyn, are you done or not? I'd thought Ethan would have left by the time I walked out of the county clerk's office, but he was still waiting outside. Right now, he only resented me for using my family's power to force him into this. He didn't hate me yet, not the way he would by the end. Putting everything else aside, Ethan was actually a good man, kind, handsome, brave, top of his class. Aside from not loving me back, there was really nothing wrong with him. In my last life, I'd been too stubborn to let go. He'd never been meant to be caged, but I'd trapped him in a dead, lifeless marriage, draining the light right out of him. In the end, he'd even died saving me from an accident. How much must he have hated me, to say with his dying breath that he wished he'd never met me? Maybe fate had brought me back to this day so I could finally let go. So I'd stop being so foolish. I pushed my feelings down, a quiet sense of peace settling over me. Ethan. Life really did give us a do-over. Let's just pretend we never met this time around. Loving you had cost too much. I couldn't bear it again. I knew how much it hurt to be stuck with someone you didn't love. I'd seen firsthand how broken and guilty he'd been after Scarlett died in that accident last life. If that's how it was, then I'd give them both what they wanted. Save the pitiful act, Evelyn. You think crying in front of me'll make me feel bad for you? Ethan's expression was complicated. For a split second, I'd thought he'd reached out to wipe my tears away. I hadn't meant to cry. I just couldn't stop. Who wouldn't be overwhelmed, getting a second chance after everything had fallen apart? Wipe those tears before you go home. If your parents see you, they'll say I bullied you again. Ethan looked away sharply, his hand clenched tight at his side like he was angry at himself for almost reaching for me. You're right. Mom and Dad are waiting for me. I can't make them worry. The thought of seeing my parents again chased the gloom right out of me. I was too caught up in it to notice the strange look Ethan was giving me. Hey, give me those for now. I'll hold on to the license. I've got a big surprise for you in a few days. Ethan reached for the papers in my hand out of nowhere, making me jump. I wasn't ready to tell him what I'd done yet. I'd go home first, figure it out later. It's not like I care about the stupid thing. I just know how forgetful you are. Don't lose it, 'cause I'm not coming back here to get a replacement with you. Ethan's tone was gruff, like something felt off and he couldn't put his finger on it. Fine. Don't worry. You'll definitely thank me when you get that surprise. I don't want your stupid surprise. Just stop causing trouble, that's all I ask. Ethan. Thank you. For saving me, over and over, even when I didn't deserve it. Whether you believe me or not. I really, really liked you. Back then. I couldn't hate him, not when he died trying to save me. But there was a lifetime of grief between us now. Giving him the life he'd always wanted was the last thing I could do for him. Evelyn, I told you. I didn't save you 'cause I liked you. I'd save anyone in trouble. Stop making things up in your head. I know. So this time, I'd give you exactly what you want. We'll be strangers. When Ethan looked into my wet, clear eyes, something in his chest tightened. Like something was slipping away, quiet and final. He had no way of knowing that last look would haunt him for the rest of his life. I booked the wedding reception at the Sterling Grand in a few days. Tell your parents to dress up. I know you hate making a big deal out of this, so don't worry, it'll just be our parents. No one else. Got it. You done? Can I go now? Ethan sounded like he was at the end of his patience. He turned and headed for the driver's seat of his car. I huffed a quiet laugh, then turned and walked the opposite way. Goodbye, Ethan. This time, we really are done. I waved at him over my shoulder, then got in my car and drove away, leaving him staring after me in shock. Ethan sat in his car, watching my taillights vanish, and huffed a bitter laugh. He'd walked out of the clerk's office fully expecting the girl who'd clung to him every second of every day to come chasing after him, begging him to come back. So that's what she'd been doing? Playing hard to get? What a petty, resentful woman. In an unnoticed corner, Scarlett watched the whole thing unfold, then pulled out her phone and dialed. Ethan, are you okay? Why do you ask? Did something happen? No, I wanted to ask how it went with you and Evelyn. We got our license today. I'm sorry I didn't tell you sooner, Scarlett. You got married, and she didn't say anything? Nothing at all? Why would she? Or did she come bother you? No. I wanted to know how you feel about all this. Doesn't matter how I feel. It's just a marriage. Keeps our parents happy, that's all. Okay. I'm glad you're not upset about it. When she hung up, Scarlett's racing heart finally settled. She had no idea what Evelyn was up to, but she had a bad feeling about it. Had she figured something out? I burst through the front door and slammed straight into someone's solid chest. Ow, what is that, a brick wall? My head's ringing. Evelyn? A deep, warm voice rumbled above me. I looked up and found myself lost in a pair of stunning eyes. Sweetie? What are you doing home? I thought you were getting your marriage license with Ethan today. Dad, Mom. I don't want to marry Ethan anymore. That's why I came home. Who is this, anyway? I stared at the man in front of me, only just noticing he'd been holding me steady. I flushed and stepped back a few paces. Don't be ridiculous. Marriage isn't some game you can quit whenever you feel like it. Wait, so you didn't marry that Voss boy after all? Before I could answer, the handsome stranger beside me lit up like he was more excited than I was. He caught himself a second later, cheeks pink and flustered, looking like a big golden retriever, soft, earnest, impossible to stay mad at. Later, I found out he was the chubby little kid from next door, the one who'd looked like a chubby vintage cherub when we were small. I remembered how cute he'd been, all soft and round. Every time we played house, I'd been the mom and he'd had to be the dad. My rules. Then his family had moved abroad. I'd cried for days when he left. I never would have guessed that over 10 years later, he'd grow up to be this tall, this handsome. I stared a little too long, my weakness for a pretty face showing through right as my dad started laying into me. Evelyn Hale. 1 minute you're screaming you'll die if you can't marry Ethan Voss, the next you're marrying him off to some other woman? Are you trying to kill me? Dad, calm down, okay? Let's talk about this. Calm down? How am I supposed to calm down? You call off the wedding at the last second, what were you thinking? I didn't have a choice. Dad, Ethan and I are astrologically incompatible. If we marry, it'll bring bad luck to the whole family. That's nonsense. I think you just need to be put in your place. Mom, save me, hide me. I was grasping at straws. I grabbed the stranger beside me and ducked behind him for cover. He actually stepped forward, shielding me completely from my dad's glare. That's when I noticed my mom standing a little ways off, watching the whole thing with an amused, exasperated smile. Uncle, I'm sure Evelyn's thought this through. Haven't you? He glanced back at me seriously, then gave me a tiny, secret wink. I looked at my dad's thunderous face and hurried to play along. Yeah, Dad. Please don't be mad. You'll make yourself sick. My mom chimed in right on cue. You were just worried she'd be miserable married to a man who didn't love her. Now she's calling it off, and you're still angry? Make up your mind. Oh, fine. You two spoil her rotten. Look at what she's turned into. For all his grumbling, my dad was just scared I'd had some kind of breakdown. After I explained myself over and over, he finally calmed down. Fine. Don't marry him if you don't want to. The Hale family can take care of you forever. Just don't come crying to me when you regret it. Being reborn had already changed so much. For one thing, Ethan had started calling me out of nowhere, asking when I'd be home, offering to come pick me up. I'd been scrolling through Scarlett's social media at the time, so I'd just sent him her location. After that, he never texted or called again. I certainly wasn't going to reach out to him. Instead, I started paying attention to what was going on inside Hale Group. My mom sighed when she saw me, her voice worried. Evie, are you really over Ethan? They'd all seen how much I'd loved him. I'd given him everything, my family's money, our influence, my whole heart. Last life, when they'd seen how miserable I was after the wedding, how little Ethan cared for me, they'd asked if I'd ever thought about walking away. They'd said a forced love never lasts. That if it was too much, I should just let go. Life was too long to waste on a love that was never returned. It hurt everyone involved. Ethan was a good man, but they'd only ever wanted me to be happy. But letting go was easier said than done. Ethan hadn't just been my first crush, he'd been the one who'd saved me, again and again, when I'd needed it most. He'd been my hero. I'd loved him so much. Even when he hated me, even when he couldn't stand the sight of me, my heart still raced every time I saw him. I'd really thought if I tried hard enough, I could make him fall for me. His parents had liked me, after all. And they'd never liked Scarlett. But one wrong move had led to another. You can never keep something that was never yours to begin with. Mom, I'm fine. I've made my peace. From now on, I'm just gonna stay here with you and Dad. Okay? I'm so glad you're feeling better, baby. But, don't you think Rowan's been acting a little different around you? I thought about the tall figure I kept running into these past few days, and flushed. Different? How? Your dad and I actually talked about arranging a marriage with the Caldwell family, once upon a time. You used to run around saying he was yours, when you were little. Mom. We only dropped the idea when we saw how head over heels you were for Ethan. Okay, enough. I don't want to think about any of that right now. I just want to stay with you and Dad, and I really want one of your layered fruit crepe cakes. All right. I'll go make you one. I turned around and spotted a tall silhouette on my balcony. Rowan Caldwell? What are you doing on my balcony? Someone's got a bad memory. You're the one who begged our parents to build that connecting ladder between our houses, remember? So you could climb over and bug me whenever you wanted. That was when we were kids. I don't bug you anymore. Shame. But that's okay. If you won't come bug me, I'll just come bug you instead. What do you want, anyway? Evelyn, do you believe in rebirth? I froze. He said it slow, deliberate, every word landing like a weight. You didn't call off the wedding because of some astrology nonsense. You came back too, didn't you? I glanced over my shoulder at the closed bedroom door, then grabbed his arm and pulled him outside. Come with me. We ended up in a quiet coffee shop. I stared at him across the table. How did you? Because I came back too. The same day you got your license, last life. But I never saw you. You're wondering why I never showed up, right? Rowan gave a bitter smile. Back then, you only had eyes for Ethan. What good would it have done if I'd been there? I'm sorry. Don't be. That's not why we're here. He pulled out a photograph and slid it across the table. Evie, your mom said you're planning a wedding reception for this woman. Is that true? I looked at the photo of Scarlett and nodded. Yeah. Why? His expression turned grave. That woman is trouble. I know. But he wants her. What am I supposed to do about it? Scarlett had always been manipulative. Last life, I'd even caught her getting out of a fancy car late one night, dressed like she'd been on a date with someone wealthy. I'd tried to tell Ethan, but Scarlett had found out first. She'd started planting little lies, making me look like the bad guy, over and over. And Ethan had believed her every time. He'd grown to hate me, warning me that if I kept causing trouble, he'd divorce me. Those had been some of the darkest days of my life. Anyone would break, being hated this much by the person they loved. I'd been ready to give up. But then Ethan's parents had come to me, crying, begging me to help him. To not let that woman ruin his life. I'd caved, seeing how broken they looked. I'd pulled myself together, ready to try one last time. But before I could do anything, Scarlett's secrets had been exposed to the whole world. Her innocent, sweet girl persona had shattered overnight. The internet had exploded with cyberbullying, insults, rumors. Not long after, she'd held a tearful press conference, claiming all the stories were lies, that someone was trying to destroy her. She'd hinted that a wealthy heiress, scorned after being rejected, had spread the rumors to ruin her. To run her out of town. Everyone knew exactly who she was talking about. I'd had no idea then that she was part of a much bigger plot against me and my family. After that, Ethan had demanded a divorce. He'd gone online and publicly claimed that he was Scarlett's so-called sugar daddy. He'd insisted there was nothing improper between them, but the internet dug up everything. It had never been a secret that Ethan had the one that got away back in college. He and Scarlett had been the perfect pair, always together, everyone had thought they were endgame. They'd never made it official, never said it out loud, but that tension, that quiet chemistry? It had everyone obsessed. So when people found out Ethan was already married, and to me of all people? They'd put it together with Scarlett's story and run wild with it. My family and I had been dragged through the mud. Everyone had called us the villains. People threw eggs at me, spat at me, followed me, even attacked me. After weeks of that, I'd broken completely. I'd called Ethan, sobbing, begging for a divorce. I'd thought he'd jump at the chance. But he'd said if we divorced while everything was so heated, everyone would assume the worst about Scarlett. He'd sacrificed me to protect her reputation. In that moment, I'd given up on him entirely. My family and I kept getting attacked, and he never once defended me. Instead, there was this anonymous group online, Moon Guardian, who'd started speaking up for us, fighting back. That's when I'd finally woken up. Forcing things never works. I'd wanted to end it all, but then Scarlett had died in that accident, and everything had spiraled out of control. The Hale family had gone bankrupt. My parents had died. The person who was supposed to die in the street that day had been me, but it had been Ethan instead. In the end, everyone had called me a monster. Said I was the one who deserved to die. Even his parents, who'd liked me at first, had turned on me. Called me a jinx, said I'd killed everyone. I couldn't take it anymore. Broken and full of regret, I'd climbed to the top of that building and jumped. Evie? Evie, hey, look at me. Rowan's urgent voice pulled me out of the horrible memory. It hurts, my chest hurts. I can't. Even back in the present, I couldn't breathe under the weight of that despair. Shoo. It's okay. I'm here. I've got you. This time, I'm gonna keep you safe. I promise. Rowan pulled me into his arms, his voice soft but steady. There was something so sure about him, something that made the panic fade just a little. When I finally calmed down, he suddenly dropped to one knee in front of me, more serious than I'd ever seen him. Evelyn. Marry me. I froze, completely caught off guard. Before I could answer, someone came barreling toward us and punched him straight across the face, sending him to the floor. Rowan. Evelyn. I was roughly pulled back to my feet. When I looked up, it was Ethan. He looked furious, like a husband who'd just caught his wife cheating. His eyes were red, his voice sharp with rage. This is why you wouldn't come home? You've been out here whoring around with some other guy? Slap. I slapped him hard across the face, then hurried over to help Rowan up. Are you okay? Rowan blinked slowly, leaning into me like he was about to pass out from the pain. Evie, it hurts. I'm taking you to the hospital. Evelyn, I'm your husband. Where do you think you're going with him? Ethan stepped in front of us, looking devastated. I glanced past him, where Scarlett was standing just out of sight, then turned back to him. You said the day we got our license that we'd live separate lives. If you've changed your mind, if you want to be a real husband now, we can go home right now and consummate the marriage. How's that sound? Ethan's face went bright red. He shoved me away. Evelyn Hale, have you no shame? Aren't you my husband? Sleeping with my own husband isn't a crime, last I checked. Ethan opened his mouth to argue, but Scarlett cut him off before he could. I didn't have time for this. I tossed out a "see you at the reception tomorrow" and left. If you want to cry, go ahead. No one's gonna judge you here. After we left the hospital, Rowan noticed how quiet I was. He patted his own shoulder. You look like you need it. Come on. You can lean on me. Are you being serious? Dead serious. I mean, the marriage thing. Were you serious about that? Rowan went still. He turned to face me, his expression completely serious now. Evie. Coming back to marry you? That's the only thing I've cared about. 2 lifetimes worth. The raw devotion in his eyes took my breath away. In the end, I told him I needed time. It wouldn't be fair to him otherwise. The day of the reception, Ethan woke up before the sun. He waited in the living room, checking the clock every 2 minutes, staring at the front door like she'd walk through it any second. It was almost 11 when his dad called for him to leave. He jolted like he'd been caught. Is Evelyn here yet? His mom gave him a strange look. She told us to meet her at the Sterling Grand at noon. She didn't tell you? Silence hung in the air. His dad sighed, clearly exasperated. Oh, come on. The girl's been planning this whole thing by herself, she's busy. It's fine if she didn't text every single one of us. Let's go. We'll be late. Son. Evelyn's a good girl. I know she forced you into this, but we wouldn't be where we are today without her family's help. Try not to make a scene today, all right? His mom had fully expected him to storm off like he always did when she said things like that. Instead, he just mumbled, I know, Mom. His parents exchanged a quiet, relieved look. No one knew their son better than she did. She'd always known Ethan didn't actually hate Evelyn. He was just too proud. Too scared people would call him a gold digger, say he was living off his partner's wealth. As far as she was concerned? With the Hale family's status, and Evelyn being as pretty and sweet as she was? Who cared what people said? Plenty of men would kill to be in his position. She'd never understood what he was so stubborn about. Mr. Voss. Mrs. Voss. Scarlett? What are you doing here? The Voss family had just pulled up to the hotel when they ran into Scarlett and her parents. Mrs. Voss's smile dropped immediately. Evelyn invited us. Didn't she tell you? That's right, we're practically family now. On a day this important, it'd be rude of us not to be here, wouldn't it? Who are you calling family? This is my son's wedding reception. Don't go throwing words around and giving people the wrong idea. The second the words left Mrs. Voss's mouth, the air went cold. Scarlett's parents clearly hadn't expected to be shut down like that. Their faces flushed with anger. What's that supposed to mean? Mom, Dad. Scarlett tried to calm them down, but Ethan spoke first, diffusing the tension. Today's supposed to be a nice day. Let's not fight. Come on inside. His face was tight, like he was holding something back. He kept checking his phone the whole way in, but there was still nothing from Evelyn. Not until they walked into the ballroom, led by the staff, and saw the soft, romantic decor did his expression soften a little. See? He'd been right. The girl who'd worshipped the ground he walked on couldn't have just stopped caring out of nowhere. She'd been planning this all along. Evelyn said she didn't want to make a big fuss 'cause she knew you'd be mad. But look at all this, the food, the decor, the whole place. She really put her heart into it. His mom's words chased away the last of his bad mood. He didn't even realize it himself, but he wasn't against this wedding. Not really. Some quiet, hidden part of him had even been looking forward to it. He wondered what kind of surprise his annoying, clingy little shadow had planned for him today. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the wedding reception I've put together for Ethan Voss. My face appeared on the big screen in the center of the room. Everyone from both families was there, watching. Now, let's get to the big surprise. Ethan, happy wedding day. I looked right at him through the screen as a giant cake was rolled out to the front of the room. Someone handed Ethan a small gift box. He took it, and I kept talking. Ethan, I'm sorry for all the trouble I caused you, clinging to you all these years. Luckily, it's not too late to fix things. This reception is for you and Scarlett. I know she's the one you love. I wish you both a lifetime of happiness. I won't bother you again. You're finally free. The second I cut the feed, I saw Ethan's face go white with shock and panic as he ran toward the screen. He must be furious that I'd made this choice for him, that I'd meddled in something this big. But even if he hated me for it, I didn't regret it. In his eyes, Scarlett was beautiful and kind. He loved her so much. Why should he go his whole life without marrying the woman he wanted? I tossed the remote aside and snapped the SIM card in half. Then I turned to Rowan. Let's go abroad. I need to get away for a while. Not from heartbreak, exactly. I just needed to breathe. To heal, so I could start over. Rowan went along with everything I wanted. And that trip away lasted 3 whole years. When I came back 3 years later, I was a different person. A sharp, ruthless player in the finance world. Last life, I'd known something was wrong, that someone was setting the Hale family up. I'd just figured it out too late. By then, there was nothing I could do to stop it. Wife. Trying to run off and leave me again? I swear, I could just lock you up and never let you go. I'd barely sat down on the plane when that low, teasing voice came from the seat beside me. I sighed and rubbed my temples. Rowan Caldwell. Do you ever have anything better to do? A grown man clinging to me like this. It's ridiculous. The doctor says I have a weak stomach. Only thing I can digest is my wife's soft life. You know that, baby. He pulled out his favorite trick, putting on that kicked puppy look, staring at me all sad and dejected. You're tired of me, aren't you? You're gonna go running back to your ex. I heard he's been losing his mind looking for you. 3 years, rain or shine, asking everyone where you went. You're gonna go back to him, aren't you? You don't want me NMPH. Shut up. I tugged his ear. I haven't even yelled at you for all the stuff you did behind my back, and here you are playing the victim? Ow, baby, I'm sorry, easy. I heard him wince, and my throat tightened. I pulled him into a hug, eyes stinging. Idiot. Why didn't you tell me? Last life, you died stopping Scarlett from destroying my family. You died with her. That's why his assistant had said he'd woken up one day and ordered an investigation into Scarlett, then rushed back to the country like his hair was on fire. Turned out, last life, he'd come home and seen I'd already married Ethan. So he'd never shown his face. He'd watched over me from the shadows, the whole time. And when everything fell apart, he'd stepped in. That Moon Guardian group? It had been him. All of it. He'd found out Scarlett was working with the Hawthorns, our family's rivals, to take down Hale Group. They'd found out he was onto them. They'd hunted him down. The Caldwell family's power wasn't based here. And with their own enemies closing in too? Trapped on all sides, he'd chosen to go out taking Scarlett with him. Mutual destruction. Baby, don't cry. Please. It breaks my heart. Serves you right for never saying anything. I thought you were mad at me, that night we got drunk. I didn't mean for it to happen. I know. I was the one who started it. Baby, yell at me, hit me, just don't ignore me. Wait, what? Rowan blinked, slow and confused, like he couldn't believe what he'd just heard. His big wet eyes looked so innocent. That's how he'd gotten to me, these 3 years. Looking at me like that, over and over, until I'd caved. Forget I said anything. Rowan, let go of me. Never. Never letting go. My wife loves me. I'm the happiest man alive. Who said I love you? I just felt bad 'cause you were crying. That's all. The lovesick puppy didn't care. He'd do way more than cry if it meant getting what he wanted. When we got off the plane, we ran straight into someone we both knew. 3 years had been good to Ethan. He looked calmer, more put together. Still just as handsome. Wife. You're staring at him an awful long time. You really want me to get jealous, huh? An arm snaked around my waist. My very dramatic, very possessive boyfriend was about to make a scene. Stop it. You're being mean to me. I'm calling your mom. Telling her you're bullying me. You forgot the long-standing family precepts, didn't you? Rowan. Fine, fine. Let's go home. I'm starving. Missed your mom's cooking. She said she made all your favorites. He chattered away in my ear, so loud my head was starting to hurt. I barely had room to think about anything else. Let's just go. You're so loud. I tugged him past Ethan, but a hand wrapped around my wrist and stopped me. Hey. She's my wife. Let go. Evelyn. Ethan ignored Rowan's outburst entirely. He looked at me like he was angry, desperate, hurt all at once. You really have nothing to say to me? I looked at him calmly. We said everything we needed to say 3 years ago. What else is there? That was you making decisions for both of us. Did you ever stop to think about how I felt? His voice cracked by the end. He was actually crying. Rowan saw it and tensed up, ready to fight again. I held him back firmly, then turned back to Ethan. I never regret the choices I make. Except one, loving you. Ethan, you told me you wished you'd never met me. I was just giving you what you wanted. I didn't say that. I never said that. Maybe you haven't yet. But you would've. Sooner or later, you would have hated me enough to say it. Walking away when I did was better for both of us. No, you don't understand. I never. Wife, how much longer are we gonna talk to this guy? Come on, you'll make the baby hungry. I swatted his hand off my stomach, flustered, and kept walking. How did he even know I was pregnant? Was it that obvious? Behind me, the 2 men stared each other down. In the end, the overprotective golden retriever won. This time, we came back to take down the Hawthorne Corporation for good. Hale Group bought them out completely. Last life, Scarlett had been their pawn. She'd been sent to ruin me, working with a mole inside Hale Group to bring the whole company down. 3 years later, without me there to make her look good by comparison, Scarlett had been tossed aside. I heard she still refused to divorce Ethan. He was one of the most powerful men in Aurora Bay now. He was all she had left. But Ethan didn't defend her anymore, not like he had last life. His obsession now was me. Too bad. Between the Caldwells and the Hales, I was untouchable. If I didn't want to see someone, they'd never get within a mile of me. Until Ethan snapped. He posted a long, emotional open letter online, begging me to meet him. I had no idea, before I went, that he'd started having dreams about our last life. By the time I found out, we were both tied up in an abandoned warehouse. Scarlett had completely lost her mind. Evelyn Hale. This is all your fault. Why do you get to have everything? Scarlett, you brought this on yourself. Let her go. Let her go. Ethan, I'm your wife. That woman threw you at me like trash the day you got your license. Don't you hate her for it? Ethan looked over at me. There was so much in his eyes: regret, longing, guilt. His voice was rough, thick with tears. Evie, you had it wrong this whole time. It was always you. From the very beginning. Last life, I won't lie, at first, I hated you. Hated that you used your money and your name to get what you wanted. But after a while, I wanted to try. I wanted to make it work. But Scarlett, she lied, she manipulated us. We never stood a chance. And when I found out what she'd done, I tried to protect you, but I couldn't stop it. Enough. I don't want to hear it. I cut him off. Even if that's true, you're still the one who hurt me most. You say you loved me, but all I ever felt from you was coldness and contempt. You let her hurt me, over and over. You gave her everything. That's your idea of love? No, that's not what happened, Evie. I was fooled, I didn't know. It doesn't matter anymore. You said once that if we could do it all over, we should pretend we never met. I'm just holding you to that. Evie, please. Just give me one more chance. I know I was wrong. I've known how wrong I was since the day you vanished from that reception. Are you two done yet? Scarlett had heard enough. She waved a sharp knife in the air, wild-eyed. Neither of you is walking out of here today. Ethan. I'll give you one last chance. Promise me we'll be happy together, really be husband and wife, and I'll let you go. Deal? Silence. Nothing to say? Then I'll kill her first. Don't. I'll do it. Just let her go first. Really? You'll really make me your wife, for real? Yes. Just let her go, and we'll go home. We'll try. Scarlett almost looked like she believed him. She walked toward me, knife raised to cut my ropes. But at the last second, she swung the blade the other way, completely unhinged. Ha 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 ha. Ethan, do you think I'm stupid? You rich people, you use people up and throw them away when you're done. You all deserve to die. Especially you, Evelyn. She lunged, aiming straight for my heart. No. Ethan screamed, fighting his bonds as hard as he could. He was halfway to me when a shot rang out. Silence. Rowan burst in with his men. He ran to me, trembling, and pulled me into his arms. His voice was broken, thick with tears. Evie. Evie, baby, are you okay? I'm fine. I'm right here. I wrapped my arms around him, rubbing his back, trying to calm him down. He burst into tears, loud and messy. You scared me. I thought I lost you. I thought. I sighed, smiling a little. Relax. Remember all those karate classes we took abroad? I could have gotten free on my own. I was just taking it easy for the baby. He pulled back, red-eyed, staring at me like he couldn't believe his ears. Wait, say that again. I think I misheard you. Ow, Rowan, my stomach hurts. Take me to the hospital. I think the baby's in trouble. Evie? Don't scare me. Call an ambulance. Now. After everything that happened, the Hale family wiped out every last threat for good. Ethan's company took a hit in the fallout. In the end, he sold everything and moved away with his parents. He left the day Rowan and I got married. He sent a big, expensive gift. My jealous husband had it quietly taken away before I could see it, so it wouldn't ruin my day. The sun was shining, the sky was clear. And everything, finally, was just beginning.